Welcome to that 10th clip on our series on Genesis 1 to 11, the prehistory of the Bible. We left one another as we explained how was the flood presented by those who wrote the Bible, and we spoke of the little remnant. God choosing a little part of people who are faithful to Himself so that He could renew His covenant, renew also His creation. So we left one another with Noah, his family, the animals and the food getting in the ark. And God Himself closes the ark as a sign of protection. Then the flood itself is described as the reversal of creation. If you remember Genesis 1, the first thing God created was the light and darkness. Then He separated between the waters from above and the waters from below. And on the third day He asked the earth to spring out of the water. It's exactly the contrary. First of all, there's rain, so it's as the water from above and the water from below are confused again, and finally the earth disappears. But the plan of God works because everybody that is in the ark, with Noah included, survives that flood, and it lasts a very long time, about a year. If we can, there are different hypotheses. I would say about a year. And then at the beginning, in the middle of that story, in chapter 8, verse 1, God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the water subsided. Now that's very interesting, because to remember in the Bible is a movement of the heart. of the heart. So we said at the beginning of the story that this was a story about the difference between what is in God's heart. He is not sorry for what He did, but sorry that what He created went in another way than what He wanted. He decided not to destroy everything, to re-establish justice, but to save His creation through a little remnant. And now His heart is moved to pity and to love, and He makes a wind blow over the water. This is a reminder of Genesis chapter 1 verse 2, where a strong wind or the Spirit was hovering above the waters. So what He is doing is a new creation, and it works. In order to know if the ark is finally, if the flood is over, Noah sends the dove 3 times. It's a beautiful sign. It's a sign of peace that is still used today. Finally, after all these years, God, after this 1 year period, God opens the door, everybody gets out, and then for the first time, it's not the first time a sacrifice is offered to God in the biblical history. We had Cain and Abel doing that in chapter 4. But for the first time ever, an altar is built. Interesting, because when you build an altar, it means that you believe things will continue as they are for a long time. An altar is stuck on the ground, so it will last for generations. You are saying your faith that you'll be able to continue to worship God. And God blesses everyone. He is very happy, and He makes a beautiful sign, which is the rainbow, as a sign of His covenant between Him and humanity. And He changes things. He allows Noah and his descendants to eat meat, so that the diet of humanity is changed. Because God says, I know that the human heart will not change, but I promise in my heart will never change either. His heart will be always inclined to evil. My heart will always be inclined to goodness. And He promises that He will never destroy by the flood again. What is interesting for us Christians is that the flood story is a very good example or prefiguration of what is happening to us in baptism. We are our heart hasn't changed, we're able to do evil. But if we, just like the ark and Noah, go through the waters and are being to enter into a covenant with God, God's faithfulness will always be with us. God's faithfulness is not dependent on baptism, but baptism is a sign of His faithfulness and of the fact that He wants us to be among that little remnant that will make a difference in the world. We shall see how the story will conclude in our next clip. Thank you.